Teach your kids better, bitch.
Hello, you guys. Welcome to my channel, All Things Militia, where I discuss a lot about what's going on in the political world and topics that pertain to everyday life. First off, I want to come on here and say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys, your support. If you see a video that you like, give your girl a thumbs up. Share the video, leave your comments down below because I love to get your thoughts on what I'm discussing. Even if we don't agree, we can always respectfully agree to disagree. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. You can do all those things and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested. So, as you saw by my initial clip, I want to come on here today and further elaborate regarding this Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case where you had a young teenager by the name of Karmelo Anthony that reportedly went to a track meet under a tent that he wasn't supposed to be under. And he was approached by another teenager, Austin Metcalf, and reportedly he was asked to leave several times. And instead of leaving, he ended up plunging an object. They said it was a knife, and then other people are coming back saying it was something else. Whatever it was a deadly weapon because it ended the life of Austin Metcalf. And because of that, Karmelo Anthony was just sentenced to 35 years in prison. So you have a lot of black people that are split regarding the verdict. Many people want to make this about race, but it's really about the deed. Let's get into it, you guys.
35 years in prison for stabbing and killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet last week. One prosecutor is detailing how enhanced surveillance video helped the jury reach its verdict.
The strongest piece of evidence is probably the video because it's not really a credibility thing. You don't have to decide, do you believe this witness or not? If something happened that the video didn't show, then we knew the witness had misremembered or heard something else that they incorporated into their memory. So I think it was very helpful to have the video.
And the case, which was taking place last week, was regarding that track meet, that infamous track meet that took place last year where Austin Metcalf lost his life. Meanwhile, failed Texas Senate candidate Jasmine Crockett is defending Anthony with this heinous rant about the murder weapon.
Was it a switch? I don't know what he had.
It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army.
Like with like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small. Well, I would argue the size of it alone, you wouldn't even think it's a deadly weapon. If a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not limited to fist.
Here is a fact check for the failed Texas Senate candidate. A weapon, even if it is small, if it kills someone, it is, in fact, a deadly weapon.
Point blank and period. Okay, you have boxers, people that, can throw down, that could actually kill people with their bare hands. Boxers' hands are, deadly weapons. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting how she comes out and she makes that statement, and it's so insensitive to the family of Austin Metcalf, who actually lost their son. It don't matter the size, what he used. It's the fact that he decided to kill the guy. Okay, that's the whole point of the whole situation. Let's go further into it because this is after he was found guilty or convicted of murder. His supporters, Karmelo Anthony supporters, chanting "Free him" after his conviction.
Free Karmelo! 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 Justice! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now!
It's always our queens that's on the front line, ready to represent the mothers, the sisters, the cousins. They always represent.
Oh Lord Jesus, this stuff is getting so old to me, you guys. Like, we don't have this same passion and energy when it comes on when it in relation to black on black crime which you have far more black on black crime. But whenever there's, like I've said several times, a white on black or black on white, conveniently, the liberal media loves to run these stories to keep this race baiting, race hatred, stirred up among us. That's how they've always kept us divided. Okay, divide and conquer. Let's look at some of the comments, because I had read a few of the comments. Somebody said shameless. These people are out here pretty much, protesting for a convicted murderer to be free. Somebody said, and the poor kids in the crowd will not learn anything positive, only hate. As you saw, there were kids chanting free Karmelo as well. No empathy or accountability at all. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. There are the most dangerous ones right there on camera. These people are so freaking insane. I just can't. If all that energy was just put into teaching their kids to read. Yeah. Interesting, you guys, what we tend to go out of our way to protest and claim to be against. But when it comes down to, like I say, everyday things happening within our community among each other, you don't really see this outcry. And let me go here just to give a little bit more detail into the situation.
Your first tank of gas. After Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder, the judge moved directly into the penalty phase. Karmelo's mom took the stand asking the court for mercy on her son. In Texas, when it comes to murder, there is a wide range of how long someone's prison sentence could be. It is between 5 and 99 years. Today, jurors not only decided that Anthony was guilty of murder, but they also determined his sentence, 35 years in prison. He's now 19. He'll be in his mid-50s when he gets out. It was an intense day in court. Cody Thomas was there throughout the entire trial, including a very, very emotional day today. Joins us now to break this down. Cody, you think of I think there were like two major emotional moments, it seems, today, because you have the verdict where the jury finds Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder, but then you also have, after a period of time, more deliberations, and then here comes the jury deciding his sentence of 35 years. Let's start there. Just take us in that moment when the jury comes back with that being the sentence for Karmelo Anthony.
Yeah, Chris, obviously so. There was emotion running rampant throughout that courtroom on both sides. Of course, the media is sitting right behind the Metcalf family, so we saw all of those tears. They feel like justice has been served for Austin Metcalf here. They feel vindicated. And of course, there were some celebratory gestures by the Metcalf friends that were in there. They looked like former teammates, five younger, bigger guys, and a couple of girls that were in there that were sitting right behind the family. When that happened, the family turned around and gave all these kids a hug, kisses on the cheek, and the tears were just rolling between Jeff Metcalf and Megan Metcalf, the two parents there, and what I assume to be aunts, uncles, or other family friends that were there as well. Now, of course, on the other side as well, Chris, Karmelo Anthony's family, tears, but of a different token, right? Total opposite. Their son, their child is going to prison for a very long time here. He's only 19 years old, 35 years. You're not looking at getting out until 54, right? Of course, there's a parole opportunity halfway through that, 17 and a half years, but that's essentially his entire life right now. So I'm sure the emotional gravity on them that they're going to be seeing their loved one who is now a convicted murderer through plexiglass for the next however long. So
Yep, it's an unfortunate situation, you guys, on both ends. It's interesting, though, how many people are responding to this. He was young. He was 19, so he's a legal adult, old enough to know, in my opinion, better than to plunge an object into someone's chest. Obviously, he knew better because he ran after he did it, reportedly. Okay, so he knew what he did was not right. Let's get into some of the reactions from specifically Black people regarding this case.
You telling me a grainy video is shown to jurors, but it was shown in 4K clear to the people that witnessed it? No witness on that stand had that little man's back? None? 0 out of 21 people being questioned? Come on, man, I'm done with all of that. I feel the same way about white people, the same way they feel about my people. Yeah, try one of us.
Sounds like somebody...
First of all, before I continue that part, you guys, see what I'm talking about? What is this? There was a white boy that was actually killed. And these people are talking about the juror. There was no black jurors. There was no this. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is this young boy should have been taught that you don't just get to kill someone because you feel like they are punking you. You know, that's the term I use in our community. I ain't no, because we hear that a lot. I ain't no punk. You ain't gonna run up on me. You know what I'm saying? It's foolishness. It's really foolishness that many of us are in support of a young boy that killed someone just because he's black.
Needs a nap, because I completely understand how it feels to be so tired, but then to misdirect all of my frustration in the wrong direction. It sounds like so many people are running away from accountability as well as responsibility rather than running to it, taking it, reevaluating our community and our boys' influence, and teaching them the right thing rather than teaching them to always be victims. We glorify YNs.
Yes.
We glorify anger. We glorify unforgiveness and
Yes.
hatred, and then get mad when the system judges you based on your actions. With all of that that's built up in your heart, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. You judge according to favoritism, which is in and of itself sin.
Let's be
Point
honest.
blank and period, because God has no partiality with none of us, no matter what race, color, gender, whatever you are. Okay? So it's interesting. She said a whole mouthful right there. Okay, you judge according to favoritism. And that right there within itself is a sin. You're not even looking at the deed. You're not regarding the family that lost their loved one. All you're looking at is the color of this young boy. And I guarantee if it had been a black on black situation, we probably wouldn't even heard about it in the news. But this is what the liberal media loves to use to keep this perpetual division, perpetual race. Like I've heard many people say they want a race war. That's really what they want, because they can't afford for us all to come together, because it's far more of us than it is of them. It's just a few of them that is controlling all of us. And this is one of the ways that they do it, by keeping us pitted against each other, man against woman, child against parent, black against white. They've been using the same playbook forever. And it's really getting old.
Bro, two high school students arguing back and forth, does that really justify somebody to lose their life? Like, let's just be honest. If I tell you, bro, I wish you would. Come on, I dare you, nigga, touch me. If I'm saying stuff like that, does that sound like I'm a victim at that point? Like, let's really be honest, bro. Let's cut out all the race. Let's just make these people vote the color green. Come on, like, what? I don't get it, man. And I know people gonna call me a sellout. They definitely gonna see that. They gonna, boy, I know I'm finna get ate up in the comments. But I'm just being honest, bro. We all know what's the number one rule when it comes to dealing with people that you don't want to deal with. Hey, back out the fight. You don't gotta argue every point. The moment you stand there arguing with people saying, I wish you would, bro, you not sounding like a helpless victim no more. And you in high school and you shanked the dude, bro. Man, I'm not gonna.
Yep. Many people was talking about he was scared, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you was talking about touch me, you know what I'm saying, if you want to, then that don't sound like he was very fearful, because he had the choice to leave. That's the whole thing. He had the choice to leave, but he chose to kill.
Karmelo Anthony should have never defended himself, apparently, huh? He's supposed to just took the ass whooping and been a passive, docile being the way that Malcolm X told us they want us to be.
Come on, bro, you can't be serious. He could have defended himself. With his hands, he could have threw hands like a man instead of grabbing a knife like a little... Anyway, on top of that, he also could have just walked off. You guys are talking like he was backed in a corner in a dark alley in the middle of the night and had nowhere to go. He was under another team's tent. He could have walked off. He could have jogged off. He could have went somewhere else. He didn't choose those options. He chose touch me and see what happens, and then he chose to drive a knife through somebody's heart. So no, it's not about him defending himself. You don't have to defend him because he's black. This is one of our problems, but let's continue.
This country has always believed since emancipation, the only good Negro is a dead Negro, and that's the reason why he's getting punished. How dare you stand up for yourself and your humanity?
Hold up, you guys. I'm sorry, I gotta stop it right there. This dude literally just said this shit. I'm sorry. This dude literally just said this country has always believed that the only good Negro is a dead Negro. Well, who is killing Negroes the most? It's more Negroes killing Negroes. You see, that's why I say it's the hypocrisy of us that has kept us in this state, this continual state of defeat, this continual cursed state. The curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28 in the Bible. It's the ignorance of us. My people perish for lack of knowledge. That right there is proof of it. It's more of us that are unalived by us than by any other race. Practically, if you want to say it like this, you can say it like this. Prior to the civil rights movement, prior to the Civil War movement, you had a lot of white on black crime. Okay, but some kind of way they turned the system into having us kill ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So you want to blame the same system that you are helping to get rid of us for the most part. Make it make sense. That's all I'm trying to say. Make it make sense. When you have a certain age, you know right from wrong. Okay, if someone approaches you, that does not give you the right to kill them. The only time you should kill is when your life is threatened, not when you are threatened to have your ass beat. When your life is threatened. Just like that man in Friday, like I said, when Ice Cube got the gun because he wanted to walk Smokey home, and his father walked in on him. What you doing with that? You know, I would have never moved in this neighborhood if I thought you needed a gun to walk down the street. He said, I have this for protection. He's like, that's what's wrong with you kids nowadays. Y'all too sissified, too scared to take an ass whooping. Okay, quick to pick up a gun, slow to take an ass whooping. Okay, this is all we had, like he said back then. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to see another day. And now you have one boy that is dead and another boy whose life is pretty much spent. In many years, it's going to be spent incarcerated. And I'm sure that he'll be used for cheap labor. What the Liberal Party loves. Okay, what the system loves. But it goes back to teaching. It goes back to parenting. It goes back to us, like the young lady stated in the other clip. We glorify YNs. We glorify degradation. This is what we see given to us by the liberal mainstream media, the news. They promote over-sexuality. That's all you hear in our. You don't get they don't promote love like back in the 70s when they had that love music where everybody was coming together and having families and you know coming together and flourishing. They promoting all this F a nigga, F a B. You know what I'm saying? That's all we get. And we're doing it to ourselves. To ourselves. But yet we make statements like this.
I fall into your place because, boy, you should know better.
This is also an idiotic talking point. Our country does not believe the only good black person is a dead black person. If that was the case, Barack Obama would have never become president. On top of that, we would have never had 2 Supreme Court justices like we do right now at this time. Black Americans overrepresent our share of the population when it comes to Supreme Court representation, which is the highest court in the land. Black people are about 14% of the population. The Supreme Court is over 22% black. Again, we overrepresent our share of the population. The vice president of the last administration has black in her. You have black members in the House of Representatives on both sides. We also have black members in the Senate on both sides, Republican and Democrat. You're just talking at this point because reality directly proves you wrong. But you still weren't done. Let's continue.
So think about the collective mourning that's going on for black folks in this country right now. We still processing the not guilty verdict for Rick Chapman. And now we got to sit here and think about this guilty verdict for Karmelo Anthony.
All right, I'm also going to break down how stupid this is. Over the past 10 years or so, there are about 9,000 black people in the United States who are murdered every year. Around 9 out of 10 times a black person is murdered in this country, they're murdered at the hands of another black person. It's in between like 85 and like 92%. I'm just rounding it to 90. I'm going to do some math here. So 90% of 9,000 is 8,100. Now, there are 365 days in the year. If you divide 8,100 divided by 365, you should get around 22. On average, there are 22 black people that are murdered at the hands of other black people every single day. in this country. And notice who consciously said black people are mourning. The two individuals whose situations don't have to do with another black person. This is why it's stupid. It didn't say we're mourning the 22 people or the 9,000 people that died last year at the hands of other black people. We only care when another race is involved.
That's it.
That's what's important.
That's
to the
it.
narrative. Don't forget, free email newsletter. The link is in my profile.
That's it. We only care when another race is involved. But we don't have that same outrage, that same protest, none of that when as far as it pertains to black on black crime, which, like he stated, is far more black on black crime than you have with black on white or white on black. Okay, it's interesting how this system has really conditioned people mentally to stay in this state of victimhood. Okay, you have to take accountability. The young boy committed a deed and he has to suffer the consequences for it, regardless of what color he is. Like I've stated in my video, if it were my family member that was, unalived by him, I'm not going to be like, well, he was black, so, it's okay, it's all good. Nigga shouldn't have been caught slipping. This is the type of stuff that we say among our own selves when it comes up to us on committing crimes against us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep that stick on you. You know what I'm saying? Can't let a nigga test me. This is the stuff that we say about each other, and it's consistently spewed in the music, in the drill music. You don't hear him saying, "Let me educate myself. Let me get a wife. I love this female. I love this." It's all now F a bit. You know what I'm saying? F a nigga. You know what I'm saying? If you try to test me if you want to, you don't want no problems with me. All this old degradation that we spew among ourselves and chant all these curses from the music among ourselves and then wonder why we're still in the same state that we're in. Lord help us. That's my thoughts, you guys. Let me know yours in the comment section and I'll see you later.